Eh bien le bonjour les BeeJays, et bienvenue aux nouveaux arrivants s'il y en a. Bon, pour un épisode 3 ce serait surprenant, je vous invite à commencer par le numéro 1. Mais si vous découvrez ma chaîne, bienvenue. Donc j'avais arrêté parce qu'il y a là l'hôpital. Il faut que j'aille dans l'hôpital tout simplement. L'hôpital de mon nouveau meilleur ami qui est l'un des seuls, peut-être même le seul à savoir ce que je suis. Et pour la première fois au dernier épisode, j'avais eu le choix entre prendre la vie pour gagner de l'expérience d'un gars ou l'épargner, et je l'ai épargné parce qu'apparemment mes actions ont des conséquences. Oh là, qu'est-ce que vous faites là, vous? Oh merde, il m'a touché. Ah, qu'est-ce que tu crois? Tu me prends pour qui? Je ne savais pas qu'il y avait des méchants par ici. Apparemment c'est des scalds, ils appellent ça. C'est pas des vampires, c'est des sous-vampires. Une sorte de vampires zombies qui n'ont pas trop leur... Hop là, une photographie. D'un couple amoureux et souriant, avec écrit ces mots: Milton et Pippa pour toujours. Nouvelle enquête, minuit dans le jardin du bien et du mal. Oh là, oh là, oh là, qu'est-ce qui se passe? Viens ici toi. Ah merde, j'ai voulu esquiver avec ma faux parce qu'apparemment la faux elle est faite pour ça. Ça n'a pas marché. Allez, tape-moi. Je veux que tu me tapes. Mais ça marche pas leur truc de merde. J'ai pas le timing, je suis mort. Parce que j'ai essayé de... La fois apparemment quand on appuie sur Y au bon moment ça fait une parade assommante. Mais j'ai pas le timing. Vous avez été vaincu, la mort n'est pas une punition. Bah, c'est parce que j'essaye absolument hein, dans tous les jeux de savoir comment fonctionnent les options que j'ai. Waouh, j'ai quasiment plus de vie. Bon, on va arrêter de faire... Ah, j'allais dire on va arrêter de faire le con, mais... Je suis vraiment trop comment dire... intrigué. Parce qu'il me disait qu'il y a une enquête en cours potentielle là dans l'endroit que je viens de découvrir. C'est là que j'étais allé ou pas, les gars? Non, ça me dit rien. Ça me dit rien, mais il y a des trucs qui clignotent et qui m'intriguent. Ah, c'est des recommandations pour pas être malade. Hein. Il y a un truc qui brillait, un tonneau ou pas. Ou quoi, je sais plus. Voilà, une poubelle, voilà. Oh, comme il esquive lui. Parer les attaques, mais tu me fais rire, ça marche pas votre truc de parer les attaques. Ça marche beaucoup mieux d'esquiver et de frapper juste après. Wow, il y en a un deuxième. Bah oui, c'est les mêmes qui sont revenus de tout à l'heure. Eh, il frappe fort, hein. Ah, mais ils sont 2 niveaux au-dessus de moi aussi. J'aurais peut-être pas dû y aller tout de suite. Ah, pourquoi il part, lui? Qu'est-ce qu'il fout? Vous avez vu, il a été complètement déconnecté du combat. Rapporter le portefeuille à son propriétaire. Parce que je viens de prendre un portefeuille, moi, là? Qu'est-ce que tu étais en train de bouffer ici, toi? Rien du tout. J'ai ramassé un portefeuille ou je dois ramasser un portefeuille? Là-bas, il y a une tache de sang. Avec... Ah bah c'est eux que j'ai battu tout à l'heure. Et ils sont sensibles à quoi? Ils sont pas sensibles à l'attaque à distance. Est-ce que je peux arriver en fufu pour les assommer ou quoi? Non, ah je vais crever, mais je suis bloqué. Pourquoi il y a une tête en haut? Hop, déconnecté du combat. Ils ont perdu l'aggro. C'est dingue ça. Bon bah tant mieux, voilà, ça me permet de prendre un peu de sang, non? Ah, il est pas content que je lui ai fait ça. Ah, j'ai récupéré de la vie, je suis bien content pour le coup. C'est con parce que j'arrive pas à manier la... l'esquive, enfin non, la parade, pardon. Plaque de plomb. Donc j'ai un portefeuille, c'est ça que tu es en train de me dire sur moi? Pas de sang ici, mais il y a forcément quelque chose. Il y a rien ici? Food Night Gel. Bon allez, essayons de retourner vers l'hôpital. J'arrête pas de me disperser à chaque fois. Voilà, ça c'est pour la grippe. Il y aura beaucoup de tracts comme ça, je pense. En rapport avec les maladies, les épidémies. Comme téléporter en haut.
Dr. Swansea asked me to collect you, Dr. Reed. Hurry up.
Mais hurry up, t'en fais pas, hurry up. Hurry up! Bon allez, j'arrive. Ça va, Gertrude?
Doctor, where have you been? I've little time to
Oh,
play
elle est pas
hide and
contente.
seek with new staff members, no matter how illustrious they may be.
I found a wounded man by the docks. He answers to the name of Clay Cox. He requires urgent medical attention.
Already making the rounds? That's the Pembroke spirit. I'll ask our porter, Milton, to bring him back immediately.
Thank you, nurse. What can I do for you?
Dr. Swansea insisted we provide you a quiet office. You'll find it on the second floor with your name on the door.
Thank
Ah,
you.
j'ai un bureau et tout quoi.
Nurse Crane, isn't it?
Yes, Dorothy Crane. Welcome to Pembroke Hospital, Dr. Reed. Your office has been prepared.
J'ai quelques
I
questions.
would like to ask a few questions first.
Comment se porte Monsieur Hampton? Où se trouve mon bureau? Quel genre de personne on va dire comment se porte Monsieur Hampton?
And Mr. Hampton, the patient we brought in, how does he fare?
I gave him a sedative to help him sleep. Poor thing was in quite a state of shock.
What kind of man is Dr. Swansea?
Well, you accepted the job from him. I thought you would have known about your employer.
It's right to assume Dr. Swansea knows far more about me than I do about him.
You'll get to know him soon enough, and better than me. The administrator has better things to do than mix with us.
Apologies, I've only just met him the once. This is sudden. I've only just returned to England.
Dr. Swansea is a brilliant surgeon and the most compassionate physician.
Alors Dorothy, ouais. Entourage Whitechapel. Que 3 indices à avoir avec elle. Ah, mais c'est voilà, il y a des... Oh, attendez. Voilà, il y a des gens qui font partie de certains quartiers. Et apparemment, il y en a un que je connais pas et il y a 4 quartiers en tout, si je comprends bien.
If you could point me in the direction of my room again, nurse.
Second floor of the hospital, left after the stairs. It's the last vacant office at the end of the corridor.
Thank you, Nurse Crane.
Alors, petit tour de l'hôpital, comment ça se passe? Pas de l'hôpital pour l'instant, c'est tout ce qu'il y a à l'extérieur. Il n'y a pas grand chose à collecter. Je vais parler à tout le
Good
monde.
evening, nurse. I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed, the new surgeon here at the Pembroke.
Dr. Swansea has already told us about you, sir. I'm Nurse Gwyneth Brannigan. Welcome to the Pembroke Hospital.
Did he really? It's a good thing I wasn't hoping to keep a low profile.
All members of staff have already read about your new blood transfusion technique. Dr. Swansea made sure of that.
I see. Well, I'm a little surprised, but I suppose I'll just have to deal with this unexpected notoriety.
You must know, blood transfusions are Dr. Swansea's primary subject of research. He is convinced it is the future.
Hey, je peux déjà faire bilan de santé en haut à droite.
Do you require medical assistance, nurse?
Ah non, c'est un
Thank you
truc.
for your concern, but I'm fine.
C'est moi qui peux proposer un bilan de santé. Et à gauche, charmer en haut à gauche. Et mais c'est rouge. Soit je peux pas le faire, soit c'est pas bon de le faire, mais j'ai pas envie de le faire.
How are things here?
Not good, to say the least. We're struggling against an invisible enemy, more lethal than any bullet from a gun. It's hard, Doctor.
An invisible enemy. Quite a poetic term for a disease, especially from a nurse.
Sorry, Doctor. These last few weeks have been exhausting. We could all do with a good night's sleep.
Do you think this hospital can survive the epidemic?
We are all volunteers here, and we're trying to hold fast, but how do we beat an invisible killer? Some nurses have already resigned.
I'm not familiar with all the staff yet. Perhaps you could help me.
Brilliant professionals, most of them. Dr. Swansea has a gift for recruiting talent.
Most of them. Is there a problem I should know about, nurse?
It would be inappropriate for me to speak ill of a
Ah,
colleague.
mais apparemment il y a quelqu'un qui fait un peu de la merde.
Is there anyone that stands out?
Well, I have never met someone as dedicated as Dr. Tippett's. He should be a standard for us all here. If only he were younger.
Why should his age be a problem?
I guess it's fair to say he's always pushing himself to the limits. He just doesn't know when to stop and get some rest.
Ah, indice sur Dr Corcoran Tippets. Que je ne connais pas puisque je l'ai pas encore vu. Mais je viens d'avoir un indice comme quoi il se tue à la tâche et refuse d'arrêter de travailler alors qu'il a un certain âge.
Nurse Brannigan, if you do know something, please tell me. Anything you say will be held in confidence.
No. I may disagree with some conduct, but in the end, everybody is doing their best.
Oh, indice requis pour tous les 4 trucs. Ça veut dire que je pourrais revenir et lui parler quand j'aurai plus d'indices pour pouvoir la forcer à dire des
Call me
choses.
if you
D'accord.
need assistance.
Ça c'est sympa, enfin je sais pas ce que ça va donner par le futur, mais c'est très sympa. Ramener le portefeuille à son proprio. Mais quel portefeuille, bordel. Alors regardons les quêtes, c'est là-dedans je crois. Trouvez votre bureau. Identifier et confronter le vampire, ça je l'ai fait. Investigation locale. Milton Hawks, chauffeur de l'ambulance de Pembroke, a avoué qu'il avait été attaqué par un patient qui l'a mené à l'hôpital. Il a été obligé de s'enfuir par le jardin de l'établissement mais a perdu son portefeuille. Son agresseur a dû être particulièrement violent car Milton refuse de se remettre sur pied, de remettre les pieds dans le fameux jardin. Ouais. Si tu le dis. Donc j'ai une enquête mais je comprends pas du tout. On verra après, ça va se débloquer je pense.
Dr. Swansea is right. This place seems perfect to conduct my research.
Mes chers frères, je dois désormais attirer votre attention sur un point très important. L'utilisation de l'ail comme protection contre les vampires. Pire, mettons tout de suite les choses au clair. L'ail ne nous protégera jamais contre ces créatures, peu importe sa fraîcheur, sa puissance ou son odeur. L'ail est complètement inutile en tant que moyen de défense. Le roman de Bram Stoker a causé des dégâts incroyables sur les croyances populaires. Oui, bien évidemment, les peuples slaves d'Europe de l'Est mettent des gousses d'ail dans leurs cercueils. Bien évidemment, les habitants de l'île de Santorin en accrochent à leurs fenêtres et il y aurait beaucoup de choses à dire sur cette île. Et j'espère un jour y retourner afin de pouvoir étudier plus avant leurs traditions occultes. Mais l'ail n'est pas là pour protéger les vivants du mal, il est là pour dire aux morts que les vivants ont conscience de leur malfaisance. C'est un symbole et rien de plus. Alors je vous en prie mes frères, allez-y, montrez fièrement votre rail, accrochez-en autour de vous, portez-en sur vous, affirmez vos forces des ombres que vous n'avez pas peur. Mais si vous cherchez une protection contre le surnaturel, vous devrez creuser beaucoup plus profondément dans les secrets occultes. Car voici la vérité, mes chers frères, l'ail ne repousse pas les vampires, mais toutes les plantes fraîches peuvent leur faire du mal. C'est comme si leur corps ne pouvait pas supporter la présence d'éléments botaniques. J'ai vu un vulpe enragé prendre ses jambes à son cou après avoir été frappé par une rose. Oui, vous avez bien lu, une simple rose. J'ai vu un écone déchaîné s'écrouler et demander grâce après avoir été frappé par un pieu en bois. Je ne sais pas pourquoi la flore est aussi efficace et je serais prêt à donner mon bras gauche pour le découvrir, mais les faits sont bel et bien là. Les vampires sont très sensibles aux herbes, plantes et morceaux de bois frais.
Good evening, miss. I'm Dr. Reed, the new surgeon at the Pembroke Hospital. And who are you?
Your name has no meaning to me, mortal. You're nothing but dust blown by the winds of eternity.
Ça m'appelle mortel.
What are you begging for, mortal? My clemency? Well,
Elle se prend pour une vampire.
tonight maybe I'm inclined to mercy. You'll never forget the night you met Thelma Howcroft.
You keep calling me mortal. Why is that? And if I'm mortal, what are you?
Well, Dr. Reed, if you must know, I'm a vampire.
Do you require my services, Miss Howcroft?
I have no need for your medicine, Dr. Reed. Blood is the only drug I need.
And why do you believe you're a vampire?
I don't need to believe anything. It is what I am. It is what I feel within this hollow shell of flesh.
Please, describe to me how you feel. What is it like to be a vampire?
I can hear my body crumble from the inside as my flesh cracks and fades. I sense the last pulse of postulant blood within my drying veins. I need new blood.
I see. Have you ever heard of Cotard's syndrome, Miss Howcroft?
Never.
It's a mental illness discovered by a French neurologist named Jules Cotard. The affected patients are delusional. They believe that they are putrefying, that they are dead, a ghost or a ghoul, or in your case, a vampire.
Delusional, you say? Oh, sad and petty mortal. You...
D'accord, elle croit être un
Can't even begin
vampire.
to understand the concept of immortality. And you think it is I who am delusional.
I'm assuming you must be a patient here. Am I right, Miss Howcroft?
It's only a cover. To hide from my enemies. I can leave whenever I want. As a woman, a spirit, fog, or bat.
Who are these enemies you mentioned? Can you describe them?
I cannot say for sure. But I sense their eyes on me from nearby. I feel them watching me every time I visit the garden near the morgue.
The staff here are not your enemy. They're here to help you, to care for you.
I'm not speaking of the doctors in white. I'm speaking of the men and women who hunt me. For I am a vampire.
I see. Don't worry. These people will not find you here. I'll personally make sure they leave you alone.
Thank you, mortal. But do not interfere with them, for you are no match for those that hunt me.
Ah, une enquête. Enquête sur les citoyens. C'est ici que vous pouvez consulter les enquêtes sur les citoyens triés par quartier. Vous pouvez démarrer une nouvelle mission de citoyen en la suivant avec X, puis en consultant votre carte pour rafficher la zone explorée. Voilà, ben elle, je la suis par exemple. Et si j'affiche la carte, la zone explorée, c'est déjà là où je suis, quoi. Merci bien de votre... Moi je suis là et ça c'est toute la zone. Et en ce qui concerne la meuf, c'est où les missions de la meuf? Eh mais ils me mettent la même zone, qu'est-ce que tu me fais toi? Bon ok. 2 indices requis, mais qui êtes-vous
Who
réellement?
are you really, Miss Howcroft? I mean, apart from being a vampire.
Is that not enough for you, puny mortal? What do you require? Hmm? Proof of my powers?
Ouais,
I'm
vas-y.
curious to know who you were before becoming a vampire.
No, it was such a long time ago, I don't remember. Centuries of unholy life can have strange effects on one's minds, you see?
Ah ouais, carrément. Pourquoi c'est toujours blanc?
I'll leave you, Mistress of the Dark, to your nocturnal activities.
Damn. The pain. It's here again.
Il a une sale gueule, lui, hein.
Good evening, sir.
Ah ouais, carrément.
Can I help you?
Il a
Unless
cramé.
you're here to fix my face. No. I don't think you can help me.
I'm Dr. Reed. I've recently taken the position of head surgeon here. War injuries, am I right?
You guessed right, Doctor. German shell took my pretty little mug right off. But they still call me Thomas Elwood.
How is your stay with us, Mr. Elwood?
Oh, it's bliss. I just escaped death in the trenches to be surrounded again by the moans of the dying.
Can I ask you precisely why you're a patient here?
It's the pain, sir. The drugs don't work. It just hurts under the scars, if you get my drift.
Can I do anything for your pain?
Nurses gave me a bunch of pills. No effect. Told you. It's like the flames are under my skin, burning away.
Who is treating you? Is someone in particular looking after your case?
Nobody since the old and tired doctor spoke to me. Started to think I was forgotten about. Wouldn't blame you.
You don't seem worried by that.
My face hurts so much more when I smile or cry. I've learned it's easier not to speak. But be assured I'm smiling inside.
Il me manque un indice pour lui parler en plus. J'espère qu'il est apparu dans mes... Oh, charmer, je peux charmer lui. Je vais lui demander s'il y a un petit bilan de
Do you
santé.
need assistance?
I'm fine. Just do something for this pain, will you? That's all I'm asking.
Je vais continuer à lui parler et quand j'aurai plus de trucs à lui dire, je vais le charmer pour voir ce qu'il fait. Ah, il y a un truc bleu que j'ai débloqué, mais d'abord je vais lui dire ça.
Where were you stationed, sir? Did you serve for long?
I really don't want to talk about all this shit.
No offense. I was pushing too much. I served in France myself. I just wanted to know what happened to you.
You were an officer, weren't you? Then I doubt we fought the same war, sir. No offense.
How close are you to Miss Hallcroft? Are you aware that she thinks she is a vampire?
To wait for her next nibble is the best reason to stay here. Every time she approaches my bed, she treats me like something tasty. A normal person.
Aren't you afraid? She may hurt you if the game goes too far.
She's quite harmless, I can assure you. Her head's broken inside is all. While I'm busted on the outside. But she's still beautiful. Living proof that there's hope for me.
Ah, nouvel indice sur lui, c'est quoi? Vas-y. De l'espoir pour lui, ça veut dire que il pense qu'il peut plaire à quelqu'un, quoi. Mais pour plaire à quelqu'un, il faut qu'elle soit complètement tarée, c'est ça le truc.
So do you let her bite you? You know that's not sanitary.
And why not? She's only supping a few drops of me blood. And the pain, it's real for once.
She could decide to bite less willing patients.
Then it's another good reason for me to stay here, Doctor.
You do realize she's mentally disturbed. It's called the Cotard syndrome. She truly believes she's a vampire.
In her madness, she never refers to my scars. And frankly, if I could, I'd join her world. It seems much more fun than the real one.
Mon gars, je sens que je vais te charmer. Ah mais c'est juste pour t'amener quelque part en fait. Oh non, mais je vais te relâcher alors. Ça, charmer c'est quand tu veux Tuer quelqu'un pour avoir son sang en fait, en gros. Toi, t'as l'air plus important que les autres. C'est le mec qu'on a
Good
sauvé.
evening, Mr. Hampton.
Ouais.
How do you feel?
Dr. Reed, is it? Oh, sir, I must apologize for my behavior.
What do you mean?
I was not myself in the factory. Fear and exhaustion made me say awful things to you, I'm afraid.
You remained perfectly nice and polite. A little delirious, perhaps. But who wouldn't be after enduring an abduction?
Thank you, Doctor. That's a relief. Now all I need to do is rest and return to my flock.
Do you know Tom Watts, the bartender from the Turtle? I met him before I found you in the canning factory.
Tom? Yes, of course. Always the helping hand, good old Tom. Without men like him, corruption and despair would have wiped out the East End long ago.
People are still in despair.
How could it be otherwise? The authorities have left us all to rot in this contagious nightmare. No drugs, no advice, nothing. It's a damn shame.
Who should I avoid in this part of town, then? Any particularly evil figures?
Not really. Most men and women are just doing their best. And it's not my habit to speak ill of people I know, Doctor.
How did you end up in William Bishop's den?
I had received alarming news about his recent behavior. I went to his place and he refused to let me go.
Why did he abduct you?
William was an alcoholic. His addiction suddenly changed to blood. I don't know why. Just like a patient I met here. This Miss Hawcroft.
You dared to enter this awful place alone. You're a hero, Mr. Hampton. Or a fool.
I'm just a man trying to help his friends, Dr. Reed. William Bishop was a conflicted soul, searching for light.
What is the general situation in the East End docks?
The situation has always been tough, with a lot of tensions between the gangs and the dockers' trade union. The wet boot boys are very nervous since they lost their leader.
Who leads the gang now?
Since Clay Cox went missing, it's his wife Edwina who runs the show, with the assistance of her minion, Booth Digby.
Has the gang been threatening you?
Ah, no. I've had this nickname for so long, you know, the sad saint of the East End. No one dares to bug a saint, not even criminals.
Ok, bon là on en a appris pas mal. Ah, il y a encore les questions personnelles, waouh.
What do you do for a living, Mr. Hampton? I can't help but notice the cross around your neck.
I manage a night asylum for the poor and homeless of the docks, and I try to guide the lost and hesitant on the right path to our Lord.
Are you a priest, Mr. Hampton? A deacon, maybe?
Not at all, Doctor. I'm just a man of faith willing to preach the good word.
Why didn't you use your cross against William Bishop? To repel him somehow?
That's a very strange question, Doctor. A cross is no magical token, if that's what you were trying to say. Not mine, anyway.
How do you feel, Mr. Hampton? Medically speaking, I mean.
I feel exhausted. Beyond exhaustion, actually. William drank so much of my blood in his madness. I feel empty.
You're in good hands here. Dr. Swansea is well versed in blood transfusion, and I'm sure he'll take the best care of you.
Thank you, sir. I believe all I need is rest. And then I can go back to the people who need me.
Have you made friends since you arrived?
Not really. But I recognize Miss Harriet Jones. I knew her when
Ça
she
va me
lived by
débloquer
the
un truc.
docks. That poor woman had such a miserable life.
You never came to see her here at Pembroke? Receiving visits when sick can be an important part of the healing process, you know. We're not just bodies.
You're preaching to the converted now, Doctor. To be truly honest, I thought she was dead. She left the docks many months ago.
Goodbye, Mr. Hampton. We'll talk again later.
A giant morgue disguised as a hospital.
Je vais parler elle.
Good evening, nurse.
Good evening, Doctor. I
Ah,
don't
non.
think we've been introduced yet.
Ah, Pipa. Il y avait pas une
My
photo
name
avec
is
Pipa
Hawkins.
And I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed. Dr. Swansea has recently offered
sur la
me a
photo qu'on a vue dans la rue
position in this hospital.
la dernière
Well,
fois.
it's a euphemism that your help will be appreciated, Doctor.
How would you describe the situation at the Pembroke Hospital?
It's serious. The flu is wreaking havoc amongst the staff and patients. We are running out of everything.
You must get a hold of yourself, nurse.
Sorry, I'm exhausted. No one has any idea when this epidemic will be over.
Nurse Hawkins, the Spanish flu won't last forever. Even the Black Plague didn't kill everyone.
I wish I could believe you. But what if this epidemic was worse? What if in the end, nobody was spared?
How long have you been a nurse?
Well, long enough to see that the epidemic is winning. And no matter how qualified you are, don't tell me you'll change that.
You'd be surprised what dedication can achieve, Nurse Hawkins. In medicine, sometimes we're just a test result away from a miracle.
Sorry, Doctor. I don't want to sound bitter, but I'm just too tired to give a pep talk like Nurse Brannigan.
How is the Pembroke staff coping with the epidemic?
Well, not well. Milton, the ambulance driver, is even more grumpy than usual, especially concerning doctors.
Why is Milton grumpy on a daily basis? Is it just an act?
Milton's not the kind of man who's bothered about a bad reputation, whether he deserved it or not.
Un mec que j'ai pas encore rencontré a mauvaise réputation.
Why does Milton dislike doctors?
I don't know. Just ask him. But be warned, Milton is not the chatty type.
On va peut-être le charmer. Est-ce que je peux te faire
Do
un
you
bilan?
need medical help yourself?
À me dire non.
nurse?
I'm fine, really. I just need to sleep.
Goodbye, Nurse Hawkins.
C'est qui gueule? C'est qui gueule? Ah, elle, c'est la meuf à qui on a parlé tout à l'heure, la vampirette. Ouais.
How are you tonight?
I need blood, Doctor. Warm, rich, vibrant blood.
Et voilà, j'ai débloqué ça, j'en étais sûr.
Tell me, Thelma, why do you feel so attached to Mr. Elwood? Why him?
I'm not sure, Doctor. I think we have a bond of some sort. We've both suffered so much. He's the only mortal I find interesting.
Would you say you and Mr. Elwood are romantically involved?
No. No, Thomas is a delicate soul. Even though he disguises it. But I am not the woman he needs. No, for I am a vampire, Doctor.
Do you plan to make him a vampire too?
Of course not. How could I inflict my curse on anybody else? I'm not that cruel, Doctor.
Do you require my services, Miss Howcroft?
I have no need for your medicine, Dr. Reed. Blood is the only drug.
Elle est de quelle... elle est de niveau 2 mentalement. Pourquoi j'arrête? Je peux pas essayer de la manipuler. Bizarre.
I'll leave you, Mistress of the Dark, to your nocturnal activities.
On va parler à beaucoup de gens, j'ai l'impression
I
ici.
believe we're going to be working together.
Dr. Reed. Dr. Swansea informed us of your arrival, but I could not dare to believe we'd have such good fortune. Such an honor, sir.
Thank you. And you are?
I am Thoreau Strickland, Dr. Thoreau Strickland. I'm a great admirer of your work, Dr. Reed.
Please, could you tell me something about yourself?
I'm a great admirer of your work concerning blood transfusion, Dr. Reed. I run my own experiments. I'm convinced it's the future.
What made you choose to be a doctor?
I'm not ashamed to admit you and your work have inspired me. I am honored to have the opportunity to work by your side.
It's always a pleasure to share scientific and medical knowledge with someone eager to learn. I'll be glad to help you if I can.
This epidemic may be the century's most terrible disaster, but I'm convinced that we, as doctors, are the only ones able to defeat it.
I based my technique on my mentor's research. He helped me perfect my method. What is yours?
I'd rather not talk about it. For now, it's just theories and first approach. My process is purely experimental and unsuccessful.
As long as you're cautious and
Un super indice. Ok.
methodical, you may remain empty-handed, but you won't fail.
You're not the first one to warn me, but I am convinced knowledge is the main weapon against the ravages of this epidemic.
What can you tell me about the Pembroke?
Well, it has always been an honor to work with Dr. Swansea. But with your arrival, I can't think of a better opportunity to learn about blood transfusion.
You seem quite optimistic. It's a rare and precious attitude in these difficult times.
I'm convinced that this epidemic is a test of endurance and dedication for us men of science.
Questions remain about our capacity to resolve the situation.
True. Last summer, during the first wave of the epidemic, I used to joke with Milton about the extra work. We're not smiling now.
Do you need help with anything in particular?
Well, yes, maybe. I'm waiting for a batch of products I ordered for my personal research, yet my supplier seems to have vanished.
Do you want me to play the errand boy for you?
Oh no, Dr. Reed. But if you went personally to his shop, what with your reputation and all, he wouldn't dare to refuse the products I need.
I see. Well, give me the address, for I may pass by if I
Petite mission à aller chercher. Nouvelle enquête, vous avez appelé ça des enquêtes, vous?
Goodbye, Dr. Strickland.
Où je vais d'après vous? Je continue là-bas ou je vais dans cette petite pièce? Oh, ça fait longtemps que j'avais pas fait ça, tiens. Il y a tellement de monde à qui parler, les gars. Ça va être l'épisode de la parlotte.
What can I do for you, Doctor?
Ah, bah j'ai déjà parlé à elle.
Thank you, Nurse Crane.
Il faut que je les reconnaisse en plus, genre.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed. I believe we're going to be colleagues.
Reed, yes, I've been informed about your arrival. I'm Waverly Ackroyd. Welcome aboard, I suppose.
Does my arrival inconvenience you in some way, Dr. Ackroyd?
Let us just say that I don't particularly share Dr. Swansea's enthusiasm for hiring you. What we need here are reliable professionals, not overrated dabblers.
Ah, bah comme ça on est bon.
Do you need my assistance?
Not at all. I'm sure that you are used to gaining people's trust with your impressive skills. Well, it will not be the case with me.
If you have a problem with me, Dr. Ackroyd, please feel free to tell me.
Dr. Swansea has imposed your presence on this hospital without asking anyone's advice. The benefit of his position. But I don't agree with it.
I know we've never met before, but I believe this hospital could use all the help it can get. You will agree with that, I'm sure.
Oh, but I have heard about you, Dr. Reed. Of course, you can't say the same about me, since I have not wasted my time courting the press.
Aren't you too old for such jealousy? It really won't do you any good, you know.
Don't be ridiculous, Dr. Reed. A simple glance is enough for me to know you have nothing for me to envy.
Since your tenure in this hospital is longer than mine, perhaps you can tell me more about this place.
Let's just say I'm tired of the carelessness around me. I have always respected the skills of Dr. Swansea, but over time his enthusiasm has become displaced.
Carelessness? Exactly what are you talking about?
We're here to save lives. The people who trust us are not volunteering for experimentation. They're here to be healed.
I don't intend to run any radical experiments, Doctor. Even if I, as any good practitioner should, express an interest in pushing the boundaries of medical research.
Modern medical methods were created through audacity and ego. But there are rules in our line of work, and they're here to protect our patients.
Ah, un petit indice. Il aime pas la médecine moderne, ah bon?
Tell me, Waverley, what do you think of Dr. Strickland's enthusiasm for his experimental research?
Strickland is playing with his patients' lives for pride and glory. Now that, sir, is unethical.
Are you thinking about something in particular?
Harvey Fiddick needs delicate surgery. I believe we should stick to the usual procedure, but my young colleague obviously disagrees.
Why do you wish to lead this surgery?
I strongly believe that Mr. Fiddick should not be butchered to test an unproven procedure.
Other people may say that's too conservative a point of view.
Conservative? And what are you going to say to Mr. Fiddick if he loses his arm because of the operation? Because that's what's going to happen if the surgery is a failure.
And are you not afraid that your rivalry with Strickland may be blinding you?
Rivalry? I guess you could call it that. But I will never be childish enough to let my personal feelings affect my judgment.
I don't know what you've heard about me, but I have already proved my value as a practitioner.
I don't question your skills, Dr. Reed, but your motive. Is it money? Fame? Or are you truly dedicated?
And what exactly is that supposed to mean?
I served in the war just like you. But unlike you, I did not use the wounded to play the modern sorcerer.
Be careful what you insinuate, Dr. Ackroyd.
I only want you to admit you used those men to improve your theories.
Knowledge has always been and will remain our main weapon. And it has always come at a price. And personal initiative.
It is not a question of initiative. It is a question of integrity. These men and women have put their faith in us, Dr. Reed.
It seems you have bad memories of your military service.
I refuse to see this industrial slaughter as scientific progress. War only reveals the worst in men.
We can at least agree on something, Dr. Ackroyd.
Bien, bah c'était quelqu'un de très plaisant.
We'll talk later.
Next. Toi, je t'ai déjà parlé juste avant, mais je les reconnais pas tous. Ils devraient mettre leur nom. Là, je vois pas qui c'est en fait, lui. Ouais, je suis sûr que je lui ai déjà parlé, mais.
Good evening, Dr. Strickland.
And good evening to you, Dr. Reed. Can I be of any help?
Yes, j'ai débloqué un truc, donc c'est très bien de lui reparler en fait.
What do you think of Dr. Ackroyd's aversion to modern medical methods?
It's a shame he's so narrow-minded. Dr. Swansea taught me that science is about exploring uncharted territory. I'm convinced that's true.
With the influenza and all that's going on, you should put your differences aside, don't you think? Why is it so difficult to work together?
I believe that if Dr. Ackroyd had been the one to discover the transfusion process, he would be the first to recommend its use.
So you believe it's just a question of jealousy and pride?
Dr. Ackroyd is as proud as he is blinded by his obsolete concept of medical science.
Tell me more about your willingness to experiment with new medical techniques.
Harvey Fiddick is a patient suffering from a severe injury that could cripple him if not treated correctly. I'm convinced your blood transfusion technique could help him.
What is it you really want? To save him, or to prove your point?
Fair question. I want nothing but to save my patient, Dr. Reed. Especially since I know Mr. Fiddick's story.
Tell me Mr. Fiddick's story.
Our first diagnosis was compromised because Mr. Fiddick lied to us about the real origin of his injury. He first claimed it was an accident.
But why would he hide such crucial information from us?
Because he is a proud father, ashamed of putting his children at risk because of his own negligence.
Ah. C'est un homme que j'ai pas rencontré, sûrement un patient.
This personal involvement could also appear to be a lack of impartiality. You must know that a good surgeon must remain neutral.
I agree. But that does not excuse Dr. Ackroyd's behavior. A man who did not even take time to converse with his patient.
Do you think keeping his distance was a mistake?
All I know is that I'm taking care of human beings with desires, hopes, and fears. Not some biological machine comprised of blood, bones, and flesh.
Ok.
Goodbye, Dr. Strickland.
Et comment on sait... Il y a un endroit où on peut savoir exactement si on peut revenir vers quelqu'un parce qu'on a plus d'options de dialogue. Oh, une dame.
Good evening, madam. Can I help you?
It's my son who needs you, sir.
I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed. How can I help your son?
I'm Beatrice Goswick, mother of Mortimer Goswick. Could you check on him, please, Dr. Reed? I've heard much of your talents as a physician.
What can you tell me about yourself, Mrs. Goswick?
Not much to say. Just take care of my Mortimer and I'll cover all the expenses. That's all that matters.
May I ask if you have an occupation, Mrs. Goswick?
I'm a teacher by profession. I teach young women who are more ambitious about their futures than their families.
Are you really that rich? Most of the patients here are of a more humble origin, if I may say so.
Yes, thanks to my husband. May he rest in peace. I can cover any needed medical expenses.
What do you think of your reception here? Any complaints?
I have had the uttermost reservations about this hospital since we arrived. But we had no other choice, considering the state of emergency.
Is there something in particular that's bothering you?
Some of the staff were not especially welcoming. I suspect they're not accustomed to dealing with patients of such social standing.
Ah, pourquoi il y a un truc déjà débloqué?
Tell me more about your arrival at the Pembroke Hospital. What gave you such a bad first impression?
The ambulance driver was quite rude, for a start. And that nurse, Miss Hawkins, seems to have quite a dubious attitude.
What do you mean?
She managed to secure a bed for my son despite the epidemic. It was a relief, but it wasn't cheap.
Elle fait de l'extorsion? Ouais. Elle donne des lits aux patients qui peuvent payer. Pas bien.
She charged you for a bed?
Yes, and I paid without question, considering the urgency of the situation.
I share your concern, Mrs. Goswick. Be sure that I'll talk to the people involved.
I don't expect compensation, Dr. Reed. But I'm aware such behavior would not be tolerated in other hospitals.
Oh, je peux rien lui dire là.
Goodbye,
Okay.
Mrs. Goswick.
Il faut que je recroise Pipa.
Good evening. I'm Dr. Reed. Can I help at all?
No,
Really? Why are you here then?
I don't want to talk. My
À la gorge, il y a un truc à la gorge, clairement.
I
Voilà.
suppose that this pain is the reason you're here. Is someone taking care of you?
C'est ici sur la gauche sur la table?
And no,
Could you at least tell me your name, sir?
Mortimer. Mortimer Goswick.
How painful is your throat, Mr. Goswick?
So painful I'd rather not talk at all, Doctor.
I'm sure you realize a doctor and his patient have to communicate, sir. Would it help if I gave you some paper and a pen?
Not really.
I see. Then maybe it's not just your throat that hurts, Mr. Goswick. Perhaps your sore throat is just the consequence of something more hurtful.
Yes, maybe. But I don't want to talk or even write about it now.
Why did your mother have you hospitalized here? She seems convinced this is a bad hospital.
My mother just wants the best for me. She won't rest while I'm here. She'd go all the way to hell and back to help me.
Is your mother bothering you? As your doctor, I can ask her to leave you alone if you would prefer.
That's tempting, Doctor. But you have no idea what my mother is capable of. She would tie herself to my bed if you asked her to leave.
Pembroke Hospital may look unorthodox, but rest assured you're in good hands here.
It's not me you have to convince, Dr. Reed. It's my mother.
How painful is your throat, Mr. Goswick?
So painful I'd rather not talk at all, Doctor.
I'll let you get some rest then.
Good evening, sir.
Est-ce que si je reparle à elle, j'ai un truc débloqué?
Good evening, Doctor. How is my son doing?
Non, rien. Rien.
Goodbye, Mrs. Goswick.
I'm alright.
Allez, caméra de merde. Pipa, est-ce que c'est Pipa elle?
What can I do for you, Doctor?
Non, c'est Dorothy Crane.
Thank you, Nurse Crane.
Putain, si maintenant, c'est dommage qu'on puisse pas voir les prénoms sur les gueules. Pipa.
Good evening, Nurse Hawkins.
Ah,
Good evening, Dr. Reed.
tu vas voir. Non, ça a pas débloqué un truc sur Pipa?
Goodbye.
Faut savoir qu'elle fait payer les lits. Ah, c'est chiant ça. Donc j'étais allé par là, j'ai parlé à tout le monde par là. Continuons par toi, mec.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed. May I help you?
I don't know if a third opinion is needed. Your colleagues are already arguing about my condition.
Ah, c'est toi pour savoir si ton bras on va l'amputer ou pas?
Would you mind telling me more about your situation?
I'm Harvey Fiddick. All I want is to get me bloody arm fixed properly.
Tell me about yourself, Mr. Fiddick.
I'm just a regular guy waiting to get his arm fixed, so I can return to work and to my family.
I was more curious about what you were doing before being hospitalized.
I'm a carpenter, and a good one too. But that means I need both
Ah ouais, tu
arms to
m'étonnes.
feed my family, Dr. Reed.
Are you satisfied with your treatment here?
Well, it's clear that I've chosen a bad time to be injured. Forgive my bluntness, but you seem overwhelmed by cases of the flu.
I won't lie to you about it. I'm afraid we are.
Are you sure you don't want to operate yourself, Dr. Reed? I have the feeling you're very capable, and your colleagues seem to think so too.
In other circumstances, you would be right. But for now, I don't think I can take on the responsibility. My apologies. Tell me about the doctors who are arguing about your case.
Strickland and Aykroyd. They both want the best for me, but there's a lot of pride there. Doctors are no different from carpenters, it seems.
What do you mean?
I often had professional arguments with rivals on a building site. Difference is I disagreed about wooden nails, not flesh and bones.
Yes.
Tell me about your injury, Harvey. Why do you feel so guilty about it?
My wife died because of me. And now I may lose everything because I've been careless enough to hurt myself. What an arsehole.
2 indices sur lui. Sa femme est morte pendant la guerre et il se sent honteux d'avoir provoqué sa blessure à cause de son imprudence.
How could your job be responsible for your wife's death?
I was working a double. She went out to bring me a hot meal and got caught in a German bomb raid.
Oh.
You can't hold yourself responsible for your injury, Mr. Fiddick. Unless you tried to hurt yourself.
Of course I didn't hurt myself. But I can't work until my arm is fixed. My children need to eat, Doctor.
Tell me more about the death of your wife, Harvey.
1915. I was in the army, building workshops for the Royal Flying Corps. Helen was happy I wasn't sent to the front.
What happened?
The Germans sent Zeppelins to bomb the construction site, but they missed their target. My wife was bringing my dinner when the bombs fell.
I'm sorry for your loss. So many died during the bombings. I served in France and witnessed the carnage there.
I would like to say that she didn't suffer. Truth is, I have no idea. I just know that I'm all that me kids have. Poor little bleeders.
How are your children after losing their mother?
They were smaller then. The only good thing about this is my Helen didn't bring them with her that night.
Goodbye for now,
J'ai tout
Mr.
dit.
Fiddick. I'll see you later.
I will not let you down, my boy.
Ah, une lettre inachevée. Mes chers enfants, c'est lui qui l'a écrit? Je suis désolé de ne pas avoir pu vous écrire avant, mais écrire me fait un mal de chien. Ne vous inquiétez pas, papa va sortir de l'hôpital dès que les médecins auront soigné son bras. D'ici là, si jamais vous avez besoin de quoi que ce soit, allez voir Mr. Chadwick et dites-lui que vous êtes les enfants d'Harvey Fiddick. Vous vous souvenez de Robert Chadwick, c'est le grand moustachu qui m'a aidé à réparer la porte de la maison au printemps dernier. Allez le voir et demandez-lui un peu d'argent, il ne pourra pas vous le refuser. Je suis désolé de ne plus être en état de travailler pour l'instant, mais nous trouverons une solution dès que je serai sorti. Ne vous en faites pas, tout ira bien dès que papa aura récupéré un bras aussi fort qu'avant. Dès que les médecins auront fait ce qu'il faut, Voilà. Ah, j'ai un nouvel indice disponible. Bah tiens, j'ai 3 indices et je gagne la totalité de son expérience si je le bouffe, lui. Mais je vais voir surtout si en lui parlant, ça a débloqué quelque chose pour de bon.
Good evening, Mr. Fiddick.
Good evening, Dr. Reed. Any news about my operation?
Ouais.
You seem worried about the safety of your family. And it's obviously the reason why your wound troubles you so much.
I cannot give up on my children now. They both need me living.
What about their mother, if I may ask?
She died in 1915 during one of the first Zeppelin raids.
Oui, ça c'est bon, je le sais ça.
We never found her body.
Y a plus rien que je peux lui dire? Ah non, j'ai tout vu avec lui.
Goodbye for now, Mr. Fiddick. I'll see you later.
I will not let you down, my boy.
Toi, je t'ai déjà parlé. Arrêtez de tous vous ressembler, s'il vous plaît. Toi, je t'ai parlé dans cette pièce. Je viens de là-bas. Ça, j'ai fait. Ça, c'est l'extérieur. Toi, t'es qui? Ouf, t'es personne. J'ai fait que le rez-de-chaussée hein, pour l'instant, et même pas entièrement. Ah yes, il n'y a plus d'endroit. Donc il faut que je monte, mais on monte par où? Là, une poubelle à regarder. Merci. C'est où l'étage? Ils m'ont dit d'aller à l'étage.
It's locked.
Ah oui, c'est vrai. J'ai fait les deux côtés. J'ai pas fait cet endroit là, je crois bien. Ni cet endroit là, parce que j'ai fait que ce qui est vers l'avant du comptoir. Donc il faut que je fasse la porte de droite et la porte de gauche, puis après je pourrai monter. Ouais, bah ça met fin à cet épisode qui était extrêmement calme et plat, parce qu'il y a beaucoup de dialogue, mais c'est un jeu à dialogue, hein. Donc désolé. On va continuer la prochaine fois, j'ai encore le reste du bas à faire, puis après je pourrai monter à mon bureau, en espérant qu'il n'y ait pas trop d'endroits. Donc j'espère que vous avez apprécié, hein. Je vous dis au prochain épisode, n'hésitez pas, comme d'habitude, je me répète, mais c'est important pour moi, à commenter, à partager, à mettre des pouces bleus. Et surtout, bien entendu, ne grandissez jamais, car c'est l'arnaque. C'est l'arnaque! Allez, c'est l'arnaque, ciao, à la prochaine.